Welcome back to another episode of Cannabury Tales. It's the stories of the great brands emerging out of the American and global cannabis space. I'm here, Demitri Downing, with our co-hosts,
Ari Munoz
and Destinee Blanco.
and we are thrilled to be joined by Beard Bros today. Wow, what a treat. I know somebody's excited. Destiny.
I am. I'm a big fan of you guys. I have been following you for quite some time in the industry. I've been working here for the last 6 years.
Yes.
Since I started.
She said, well, this is one of the groups that I want to interview while we're here, which is really cool. So we got Bill and Jeff.
Hello. We highly appreciate that. We are always humbled by people that tell us they've been following us for years. We're cultivators that came to media, and we've got a lot of notoriety and recognition since getting into the media. So it's still very humbling for us, and we appreciate you following.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us on our podcast.
So when did you guys start in cannabis? Like, I mean, there's there's no secrets here. No secrets here.
Start from the beginning.
I guess I'll go first. I'm the older brother.
Yes.
So I was in my middle teens, 13, 14, which I found a lot of people started using cannabis at that time. But it's just always been something that we recognized wasn't as dangerous as they were telling us, and we would utilize it for personal reasons. For me personally, in retrospect, I realized I was using it to focus. I was a little bit ADD, I guess you could say. I was in a lot of different directions, and when I would consume cannabis, it would help me focus and stay more on track. But the starting was in the 80s. Cultivation in the 80s.
Nice.
Yep. Late 80s, but really more cultivation started in the 90s for us.
That's all right. Nancy Reagan was around then, so you guys were taking big risks.
We were. The fried egg in the frying pan was a commercial that we saw.
It got me. I don't know. So.
But cultivation in the 90s through Florida.
Get this a little bit closer, just so we get.
Got you.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get too close and have the mustache rubbing on it.
No, it's all good. It's all
No,
good.
that's what we need, bro.
So the quick one was cultivation in Florida is when we first started doing our real commercial growing hydroponics and things like that. Obviously, it wasn't legal in Florida in the 90s.
Right.
So, but that's why we ended up in Los Angeles about 12 years ago, because we got tired of looking over our back, tired of worrying about going to jail.
Yes.
I
think I saw you guys on Miami Vice.
You may have. But we wanted to go to a state where it was at least state legal, and we could have some moderate feeling that we weren't going to jail.
Yeah.
Right. So you moved to California.
We did. We moved to California in about 2011.
2011. So you were in Florida until 2011.
Correct.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot of. You took some big risks in Florida.
We did, and that's why we left. They were literally giving out 20-year sentences for people that have 4 lighter in a spare bedroom.
No, they don't mess around down there.
That's wild. Was it a hard transition for you to take everything over there?
No, it's just we knew that we couldn't stay there. We knew people that were catching charges, and it just didn't make sense when there were states that you could do it legally on a medical basis with the collective model, like in California.
Makes sense.
Getting too close.
So 2011, you're over in California. You want to pick up?
I was going to give you a quick backstory on my side as well.
Yes.
With Bill being the older brother, of course, he was the influence on me as a teenager.
Shame on you.
And people like to say it back then, a bad influence. I look at it as a good influence.
Right.
Good for you.
But since statute of limitations are well beyond, Bill's comfortable with me telling the story of him contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
Yeah.
Same thing. I was around the 13.
Shame on you.
Around the 13-year-old age when I first tried cannabis with my older brother. He was in the cultivation side of things. I actually went the college route, and we kind of joke about it now. We were vertically integrated all the way back in the mid-'90s because he was growing it, and then I was selling it at college.
Where'd you go to college?
Yeah.
I went to University of Florida, Gainesville.
I was selling it at Boston University.
Yep.
San Diego, Tucson, San Diego, Phoenix. My brother was in Delta Chi, doesn't matter at this point. And him and his friends were shipping it back east, and 4 pounds, 10 pounds. We had a lighting company. I probably could say it was at the Psi Performance Center at Boston University. My alma mater. It doesn't matter now. So, and we would ship it over there and into boxes because we'd receive all the lending boxes and boom, boom, boom. And I was like, no, this isn't right. After like 7 or 8 times, I was scared. And then everybody else started doing FedEx giant boxes and stuff, and I left it alone. Sorry, go back to you.
No, all good. Yeah, no, we had the best of both worlds then. Like we had connections down in South Florida that we were bringing up, the Crippy that was around in the mid-'90s there. We had people up in Kentucky and Tennessee with homegrown that we were getting, and then obviously what he was cultivating as well. So, but no, fast forward, we moved from Florida, actually stop over quickly in Nederland, Colorado in 2010,
right,
before coming out to California. We went there because that was when they had the only system you could be an independent cultivator and sell to the dispensaries, and then they closed loop their system.
Right.
That's what pushed our move even further west. We were able to start up a nonprofit in LA in 2011, start gathering patients to be caregivers for,
right,
and build our cultivation side from that.
Nice.
And, so you started cultivation in California in 2011, and you want to pick up what happens next?
We were state legal. We were paying the Board of Equalization as a legal California company. We made it through about 2015, and we were rated. So even though we moved all the way from one coast to the other, got rated at the end of 2015. We ended up beating the charges because we were California legal.
Nice.
And ironically, it's what ended up getting us a California license. So we have a social equity license in California, in Los Angeles specifically.
That's awesome.
Because of the bust in 2015.
That's a dispensary, cultivation, manufacturing?
We were cultivation. So we have a license for distribution and manufacturing now.
Okay.
We were not able to secure a cultivation license in LA because of their highly restrictive nature. They only allowed the original 185, what they call pre-ICO Measure M's.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
To have a license. Yeah, 185 in Los Angeles. That makes no sense. California, as a side note, California right now has about as many dispensaries statewide, about 900 brick and mortars, and about 400 or 500 deliveries. There was more than that in Los Angeles alone, leading up to Prop 64.
Yeah.
So that happened to us. We are now licensed in California. We have some product. We have RSO in the market in California.
RSO is awesome.
Yeah. We do a high CBD that's made from a Ringo's Gift strain.
Is that under the Beard Bros name?
It is under Beard Bros Farms. We are in about 110 dispensaries all across California.
Awesome.
We're distributed by Mammoth Distribution, which carries Heavy Hitters and other products. They're our social equity partner in Los Angeles.
Heavy Hitters?
Yeah, Heavy Hitters.
Nice.
So that's how that all came about.
You know, the Cannabury Tales is designed to kind of tell stories like your guys's, because you have all this understanding of the plant, understanding of cultivation, understanding of the history, the culture of cannabis, and you've slowly woven all that expertise into a modern brand, which, in a sense gives it more credibility. There will be great lab-developed brands. I'm not going to poo-poo those at all.
Right.
But, these are interesting stories that, won't be replicated. And you guys are like one of these unusual groups that's taken all this black market, gray market, whatever you want to call it, non-traditional market expertise, and evolved in something meaningful now in the tax and regulate concept. And that's what Cannabury Tales is all about. So you guys are like VIP guests now.
We got tons of stories on that. I mean, the reality of it is you can't do what we did in California anywhere ever again. Oklahoma's somewhat similar, but it's saturated, so you can't really do what we did.
Yep.
California in the teens was really the last place you could go and spend $5,000 to set up a nonprofit and start collecting patients and cultivate 6 or 12 plants per patient. I mean, you can't do that anymore.
You can do it in Oklahoma, you just won't make as much money.
Well, and it's not patient focused. That's where I go with that is Oklahoma allowed very easy access to entry, but that's for commercial cannabis sales.
Okay.
That's not for a medical program. California was still a medical program back then.
Even though they are a medical program, the way they've set it up with $2,500 for unlimited plants, which I agree with. We should be able to free to do it. I feel like we need something between California's high barriers to entry and restriction and Oklahoma's opposite of that. So, we like the freedom in Oklahoma, but it just got oversaturated. And then what you get is you get diversion, and then you get issues with that. So, and not that we feel it should be federally legal and you should be able to move it around the country, but that's just not the situation right now.
Yeah, personally, I'm just not a big fan of limited licensing. I find it like government barriers to entry, minority report shit. It just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
And there's so many entrepreneurs, good-spirited people. I know the price of cannabis will come down, but those who have good brands and good expertise and good knowledge, committed, good marketing like you guys will just keep on pushing forward and you'll win.
Well, it also stifles creativity and innovation in the industry.
Absolutely.
That comes from the small people, from the craft people, the people that are dedicating their entire lives to a particular aspect of the industry.
Yep.
I'm like a conductor over here. I'm with you. But that innovation, that innovation experimentation, it ultimately leads to what? What's in the best interest of the patients and consumers, which is what an industry should be built around. And that is the common goal that guys like you share. The commitment to the patient, to the consumer, to innovate and come up with the best ideas. Fortunately, you have a license. Fortunately, you've navigated those waters over the decades, but there's a lot of other guys like you who can't.
There's a lot, and we know people don't stop feeding their family the day after a law goes into effect. So we completely respect anybody who hasn't been able to get a license. We would be doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's what we do. But the wild part about it is when we started building a brand, it was to build our flower brand, and we did that in Los Angeles. And really unbeknownst to us when we did it, we were just doing it to further our brand, but we like you said, we were building a long-term brand, and it's developed on trust. We would go, when we started getting known in LA, it was because we would take our product down and look patients in the eye at these weekend and nighttime sessions, and we would sell product directly to patients because you could do it, farmers market style. And that's a sad thing that's gotten lost in everything that's happening with legalization, and the way they want to tax every single dollar that goes out has led to the destruction of the farmer market type style, which was fantastic, and that's how we built a brand.
I like the farmers markets.
Yeah, I mean, you honestly, I feel bad for people that are trying to get into it now. Like, you can't really build a brand like we did unless you're going to drop millions of dollars into marketing to do it.
Are they raiding pop-up farmers markets in California?
We've heard of some of that, yeah. But I'll tell you what, it's carried on since 18. There's a lot of them that didn't stop. There's ones that are still running.
There's
absolutely.
Farmer markets.
They're never going to stop it in California. California's full of rebels. And just because, I mean, honestly, we became illegal from December 31st of 2017 to January 1st. We became illegal because we didn't get our license until later in 18.
Right.
So we were illegal. People had been doing it correctly for almost a decade within the state confines, became illegal from one day to the next.
That's
awesome. And sorry, you have a
When did
question?
you guys start calling yourselves the Beard Bros, or how did that come into existence?
You know what?
The Beard
I was going
Bro.
to ask that question. There's a dozen ways you could ask that question because I think it's kind of obvious.
It kind of
The Beard Bro.
It actually formed in 2013, but it took its roots a couple of years earlier than that. When we moved from Florida to Colorado, Bill had a very thin beard, chin strap beard, and I actually just had the little soul patch.
Nice.
And when we got there was a local music festival going on in the town of Nederland that we moved into, which was up in the hills outside of Boulder. And as we walked through, we literally heard people say, "Oh my God, look, they're just letting the feds come in up in here like that." Because we had the shaved heads, all clean cut, big tall guys. We were like,
"Look at these narcs."
Well, yeah. Whoa. We definitely aren't that. And if that's the
Take back
connotation
my
we're
Boston
getting,
University story.
No, never.
yeah. So for the entire year we were in Colorado, neither one of us shaved our beards. I actually didn't shave my hair either. So
I don't think a lot of people shave in Colorado.
when we moved to California, I actually had shoulder length hair and the beards. Shaved off the shoulder length hair because of getting out into the California heat instead of the Colorado mountains. But then when we got there, we realized, while there were some of the hipster beards, the Duck Dynasty guys and some things like that at the time, it wasn't really that prevalent. We actually stood out from it. It was something that differentiated us.
Yeah.
We are actual brothers, so it just became a natural thing. And as we started to call ourselves that, we started getting people shouting out that at events. And I've heard it around here a lot of times as we're walking around. Yep. So it's just kind of become a bit of a calling, and it's authenticity. It's us. You can't really fake who we are.
Right.
Is it just two of you guys?
As brothers, yes. His son does work with us as well, and he's got a full beard too.
Nice.
He does.
We jokingly refer to him as second gen beard.
He's the second gen or the baby beard.
That's
That's awesome. Do you guys have like little bobblehead dolls too?
We should get them.
That would be super dope.
Bobble beards.
Bobble beard. The beard needs to bobble.
There
we go.
We got two little bobble bearded guys.
Bobble beards.
With the bearded bros.
We'll make sure you get your cut.
We
we're going to cut you in on that.
We'll put him right here next to Yoda.
No. We don't take cuts of anything here. We just like to have good times, good ideas, meet people, connect people, spread the love. So you guys are perfect, and you guys are great examples of the cannabis industry. And that's why we love Cannabury Tales, and we love that you guys are actually here. What's next?
What's next? That's a good question. I mean, because we've made a pivot from cultivators to, the state now says after 10 years you can't do that. We worked through a couple licensing deals. They didn't work out the way we liked them, so we have cultivated in California, but we're moving away from that because the market in California has not been performing well lately. What's next for us is the media gave us a much broader reach instead of just being known as growing really quality flower in Southern California.
Right.
The moment we started putting out aggregated news and then our own news, we realized that we had a market that spanned not only the country, because we're from the East Coast, and so our friends started looking at what we were doing because we had a website in 2018 and we started putting out our own articles. We realized that we now had a worldwide following. South America, we get a lot of following from South America. England, Europe, we get a lot of following from there. So it just became something that we we pivoted to because we wanted to stay relevant because we didn't think we'd have products in the market, and it turned out to be a much bigger multiplier than that. So what's next for us is we're deeper into media, and we're also looking to start working on the East Coast through some licensing agreements.
Like ingestible brands or flower brands at all? I mean, like there could be Beard Bros.
I mean,
anything.
In the 215 days in California, we had almost 70 products in the market on Weed Maps. And as he said, in 2018, that lopped all the way down to the RSO. So we've been a flower brand, edibles, concentrates, topicals, tinctures, salves, you name it. So I'd love to get back to being a full-scale product line.
Yeah, we take the medical aspect of it very, very seriously.
Yeah.
And so we've always been active with helping prisoners that are in for nonviolent crimes. We've always been very active with veterans. Until we couldn't do it anymore, we would donate pounds every month up until 18 of our own flour to veteran organizations. So thank you very much. I mean, it's just always something, as a child, I would see veterans that came back from the Vietnam War, and they were treated like shit, and people would call them names, and they were trying to medicate with cannabis, and they were called names for that. And the reality of it was they were just trying to deal with the trauma.
That's Uncle Mike.
That our government put them into. Go over here, kill people you don't even know, and then come back and we're going to treat you like shit.
Smoke their weed, too.
Yeah, right? So we've always been advocates for the whole thing. So, if I had to take a choice, instead of hype, I'd rather have a full medical line.
Right.
Everything from tinctures to suppositories, right? Let's help people.
Let's really help people.
If you're interested, I have a university that's looking... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just said for the patients.
Yeah, I have a university that's looking to partner with somebody to do a line into... It's a naturopathic institute.
And it should be for the patients. Medical is what started all of this, and almost every state that has medical and then rec comes along after it, medical gets forgotten. Like, we weren't in California at the time, but we understand that it was AIDS patients in the Bay in the early to mid-'90s that brought cannabis to the forefront. We have to remember that, and we have to honor that.
Right.
Even joy is a form of therapy, and it's an individual's choice how they're going to use their homeopathic substances or herbal remedies throughout the world in order to find the healing.
All use is medicinal.
I agree with that.
Whether you understand it or not, all use is medicinal.
Yep, makes you better
and
inside
we don't
and out.
I actually never use the word recreational. I call it adult choice.
Yeah.
And therapeutical use, adult choice. I actually don't support the concept of recreational eating, recreational coffee drinking, recreational alcohol drinking, or any of that. It doesn't make any sense. I'll drink to relax, but that's therapy and that's medicine.
Yep.
That's fine, but I'm medicating.
Well, that's our thing behind it. If somebody's using cannabis, like for me, I didn't know when I was younger why I was using it, but I was using it therapeutically. Yep. And that's what we say. You can go out and just get really high on a Friday night, but you needed to get really high and relax. It's therapy.
You need it so you can come up with the ideas on how to turn your younger brother into a juvenile delinquent.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. Now your son. Not just kidding.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good.
He was an adult when I smoked with him the first time.
Okay. Getting better, right?
That's goals.
Does he use it for focus or for relaxing?
You know what? Honestly, I think he's the same as me. He uses it to reduce stress and to focus. Quite honestly,
many people.
Yeah.
I was kind of a fuddy-duddy when I was prosecuting all that kind of stuff, starting in the industry in 2012, and I was with the suits looking to make money, but I spent 3 years understanding the cannabis movement, the cannabis community, the cannabis history, the cannabis plant, working with the guys at Normal, Michael Weiser and a bunch of other individuals, taught me the importance of it. So I greatly appreciate that. Yeah. And I had a comment there, but I forgot what my train of thought. Sorry. When we talk about Michael,
did you take a break earlier? No, I'm just kidding.
I need some cannabis. No. But that was the story, because Michael Weiser taught me. He was a school teacher. And so in 2012, 2013, we shared an office. We donated an office to Normal, because they're the ones doing all the advocacy. It seems natural business and advocacy. Sure, you just do that as a good businessman. But then you listen to him and talk to him. And every day every hour he'd go out and smoke a joint.
He would have an alarm clock set for 4:15.
Yeah,
it'd go off at 4:15 and another one at 4:20.
He would consume more cannabis than anybody that I'd ever met in my life. Because before that, I was doing law enforcement and economic development with a lot of the white collars. And he could edit at a level that was higher than anybody I knew. And he could write dissertations and write articles. And he was so focused and so on it. And that was him and about 5,000 other individuals between 2012 and 2016 taught me the importance of cannabis as a tool for relieve anxiety, a tool to help focus, and that I was just entirely wrong about how I saw things.
Yep.
So that really, really helped me.
Yeah, the whole lazy stoner moniker is a myth.
Just
I mean,
absolutely
some of the
wrong.
hardest working people I know are in the cannabis industry.
And then
And in my opinion, cannabis just brings out or exemplifies what you already are.
Yeah.
So
Right.
if you're a lazy stoner, you were lazy.
Yeah,
If we
that's
were
what
if we were lazy, we would have all given up and gone into something else by now.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
I have so many friends from law school come to me all the time and say, hey, we're glad you're involved, so heavily involved in the cannabis movement. We consumed all the time in law school in the 90s, we just didn't tell anybody. I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, we use it to study. I'm
Professionals
like, what?
have been using cannabis for a long
What?
time. They
Yeah.
just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it's an issue.
Relax
No,
the brain.
and that's a beautiful thing.
Well, not even just the brain, the body. The amount of
Yeah.
athletes that are able to come out now and be open and free with it.
Yeah.
But when we were talking about back in Florida, I had athletes, both college professional, that I dealt with all the time.
Yeah, I mean, people
Definitely.
like Ricky Williams lost an entire career.
I was gonna say
Because
you
of
can't
cannabis
even,
use.
Yeah, in some sports you can't even
Huge
smoke.
fans of Ricky Williams.
Oh, yeah.
The Heisman. Love that.
Michael
That is
Phelps.
something else we do have coming up. We did a new show we're doing with Altered TV, and Ricky was one of our interviews. So that's
Nice.
coming up soon.
Tell him I said hi. He's like a ninja Yoda type.
Love him.
Gave a lot of praise to him. Him and I graduated college the same year.
That's
Both
awesome.
introverts, kind of social awkwardness, anxiety is kind of the things we've used cannabis to overcome. So I had a lot of commonality with him. It was really great to sit down and talk to him and basically praise him for how much he stepped up then, because he gave up a lot.
No, he's definitely a hero. Definitely a hero of the movement.
Change the world.
So that's fantastic. Well, we look forward to seeing you guys again. Anytime. We'll see you. When will we see you again? At MJ BizCon, probably?
We will be at BizCon. We saw your event down in Arizona, and we were impressed. It looked really good,
Yeah.
and we were
When
a
did you
little
guys come out?
bummed. We didn't come. We saw it, and I was a little
online.
bummed we didn't come to it.
You should come next month.
We did
October
some work.
26th
Yeah.
is going to be huge.
I
Okay,
think
perfect.
we were working there consulting right before you guys did your first big networking event you did down there.
We were working in Tempe in
Nice.
2000,
Look,
was it
you
20?
guys-
19 to 20?
Yeah,
Carry
20
over?
and 21, I think we were doing consulting for cultivation in Tempe.
Destiny,
Okay.
if they come, put them in the beehive, make
Yeah.
a whole posting about it so that the 35,000 people that we email out to can know that they're coming to Arizona,
Okay.
looking for potential partnership deals or whatever,
Yeah.
just
We
to
do
meet
a
people.
Whole, a whole beehive thing. We'll
Awesome.
have a whole scheduled meeting. You guys will have a bar tab and schedule meetings all day.
I
Yeah,
love
just
that. Listen,
swing on
and
out.
what you
Is
guys
that a bar
are doing,
tab for cannabis? Because you might regret that one.
No, the cannabis is
Yeah.
free.
Cannabis
okay,
is
well,
free.
you'll
People
definitely
just-
regret that one.
They'll be
Right.
throwing things at you, and you'll be like,
Uh-huh.
okay.
It's
Take
wild.
this, take
It
this.
really is a good time. And we had like 1,200 people, and we averaged somewhere around 600, 700, 86% industry. But this October 26th, because it's a Halloween party, and we'll have to send us nobody dressed up as the
Costume party.
beer bros.
Nobody dressed up as beer bros.
Yeah, put that in there. And because they're coming.
Okay, that's going to be our tagline.
There you go.
Nobody dressed up as beer bro because they're coming.
'Cause they're coming.
And
They're coming. Now you have to
so
come.
October 26th is going to be a massive event. Definitely come.
Well, and we love groups such as yourself coming up and then amazing ideas like Beehive. I've never heard that. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
I love it. And that's what we have to do. We have to promote for within ourselves.
Yeah.
Because the reality of it is the big boys aren't promoting within everybody else. They're just looking to dominate, and we've all got to stick together.
Oh, we got a whole thing going on. I got the beehive, the VIP upstairs. We'll
Love
give
it.
you guys the.
We're fighting for brands. We're fighting for the interest of brands, as you know why. And MITA October 26th. We'll hang out there, and we'll get you guys back on what we have MITA Game Day, which is like a 2-hour long session where we just bring up random individuals and crazy
in
weird
there.
shit happens.
Nice.
It's a new concept. We just did the first one. We had Jim McMahon and a whole bunch of
That's
other
when we
cats.
saw all the Revenant guys
Revenant.
were down there.
Yeah.
Our Revenant
We
boys
know
were there.
Kyle and Eben and all those guys.
Yeah.
That was
super
we were
dope.
poor Mitch. I'm not sure if Mitch is still here, but Mitch is sitting there, from respect my region.
Yeah.
And then Jim McMahon is sitting there. He comes up and because it was time to interview Jim McMahon, I'm like, no, Mitch, stay. And then Kyle Turley comes up, and then Ebon Britton
Yep.
comes up,
Yep.
and Jameer Miller comes up, and you have these giant dudes.
Yeah.
But and then
And
all
then
right
Mitch-
there.
Mitch is not small either.
Yeah, Mitch is
and
just
then
like,
Mitch is not small.
Mitch is like just chilling. He's like, you know what? I don't know what's going on, but it's a great photo op.
No, well, I would actually consider Kyle and Eben personal friends of ours.
I-
They're
That's
both,
awesome.
well, Kyle's not in LA anymore. He used to be out in LA area. Eben
Yeah.
still is. Kyle, I believe, moved to Kentucky, somewhere, Nashville, I think. But no, we've known those guys for years, and they've been in cannabis for years. We did Eben Britton's podcast before he was doing Mike Tyson's podcast,
Right.
like 5 years ago.
Yeah, Mindful Warrior.
Mindful Warrior podcast. Yeah.
Evan Britton's one of those like Yoda type
He's
guys,
awesome.
you know.
Well, and what's funny there is he actually was a Jacksonville Jaguar player where we lived for 20 plus years. At the time, I was a season ticket holder and Champions Club member. So I actually met him back in his rookie orientation with all the Champions
That's
Club people.
awesome.
And I reminded him of that when we
Yeah.
linked back up in California with regards to cannabis. And so it's really cool to have those type of connections from somewhere else come into cannabis.
Right.
I need to get in
Same
touch with
with
We
him.
were fanboying him.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
now
it was
you're
pretty cool. Yeah,
friends.
yeah.
No, we look forward to doing more things with you guys and Beer Bros. I think it's going to be a great legacy brand and name for decades to come. So we appreciate you being on the Cannabury Tales. What do you think of the name?
I love that.
I love it.
The Cannabury
Yeah,
Tales.
I love it.
Yeah. The
And we
stories.
appreciate you having us on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All
What's
right.
the best way for people to contact you?
Best way to contact us, beerbrosfarms.com, because nobody can delete it. We are on Instagram at Beer Bros Farms. LinkedIn has been coming on, and I'll be honest with you, this event here has been amazing. I've met more people that we've met over LinkedIn in person here this week. I was going to say weekend, but this week, then it's wild. So LinkedIn, Beer Bros Farms, and also personal. Also Facebook, but the Meta stuff, Instagram and Meta's just gotten they're so restrictive to us.
Yeah.
But we're all for Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Beer Bros Farms with a PH.
Nice.
And,
Any closing comments?
And any upcoming event in cannabis that you can think of,
October
we're probably
26th.
going to be there.
Just swing by.
You'll be here. Any closing comments? Anything that you want to say? How do people get involved with your your website? Like
So on the
posting
website
an
now,
article?
we actually do have a contributor. You can come on, and we have a contributor part where you can come in, you can put an article in, and we'll talk to you about it. And if you want to publish underneath our platform, we're happy to do that. We're always looking for it. Final Cut, our website has about 700 articles on it. We started back in 2018. It's our spin as an insider's view of what's really going on in the industry. So we just encourage people to check it out if you want to see what somebody who has a license, who's working in cannabis in the largest regulated cannabis market in the world, being California. You want to know what our view is? Check out beerbrosfarms.com.
Come and check it out.
Yep, and if you're on there for about 30 seconds or more, you'll get a pop-up to sign up for our Friday Sesh newsletter that goes out every Friday morning.
Signing up.
Yes, the
All
Friday
right.
Sesh is really,
Already
you really
signed up.
should sign up for that. It's an overview of what we wrote that week and what the mainstream news was talking about, and we slide in some really fun stuff too. So
Super cool.
Nice.
Very cool. Well, we look forward to meeting you guys soon. Not meet, but to see you guys again soon.
In your neck of the woods.
yes,
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
tuning in to the Cannabury Tales.
Another episode.